Hi, I'm Sean Carruthers and welcome to How Do I on Butterscotch.com. This series we're asking, how do I shoot better video? This episode specifically, we're going to take a look at the audio. Now, it may not be obvious, but good audio is actually a very high percentage of what it takes to make a good video. You can have the best picture in the entire world, but if the audio is really lousy, it'll really distract from what you're seeing on the screen. So you want to make sure that if you're going to have a video that has an audio component in it that needs to be shot live, that you have an audio component that is actually good. Now, when you're using something like your cell phone, your options are fairly limited. Generally, the microphone on board is what you're going to be using to shoot the audio for this. So you may want a digital recorder or something else that you can record separately at the same time that'll give you better quality audio if you absolutely have to make something using the video camera found on your cell phone. Now, with the iPhone, there are some options that have options for, say, your headsets. You have a microphone that's built into that that's generally higher quality than the microphone you have on here. You can plug it in through the jack on the top and then be able to have extra audio coming in through that. Now, it's not the best option in the entire world, but it is there in a number of cases if you do need to have a microphone input onto this. You're better off, of course, to shoot on a higher quality camera in the first place. Now, with the flip cameras, you do have higher quality video, but the weak link is always still the audio. Now, the new version of the flip actually has a few options available to you. Now, there is the microphone that's built into the camera right on the front panel here. But there's also something called the flip port on the bottom of the camera that gives you access to additional accessories that can be attached to the flip camera itself. And one of the things that you can add to it now with the flip port is audio. Now, there's two main components that we know of at this point. One of them is an onboard microphone called the Mikey from Blue Microphones. They're the ones that make the Snowball, and they're the ones that make the Yeti microphone. Now, the Mikey component does attach directly to the bottom of the camera, and that does mean it is with the camera wherever the camera happens to be. So if you go a bit further away, then the quality of the audio will dip a little bit as you get further away from your subject. That said, it is higher quality audio than you do have on the flip itself, so it is a nice step up. Now, there's another option coming from Scosche. It's called the Freedom Mic, and it's two little modules. One that has the microphone input and the other one that attaches to the bottom of the camera. Now, it's a wireless solution, so even when the person shooting has the camera in their hand, the person that needs to be mic'd will still have the microphone attached directly to them no matter how far away you get from them. So that allows you to move around a little bit without having to worry about the audio level going all over the map. Now, if you're working with a full-size camcorder, you may have a few extra options. If you're buying a camcorder from scratch, you don't have one yet, you might want to look for one that actually has a microphone input. For example, this one that we have here has a microphone jack at the top. What that means is we can plug the microphone jack into there, and the other side on the microphone will attach here, and then you can have this attached to the camera from a distance. Now, it's not ideal because you're still tethered to that, and it means that you won't have a lot of room that you can move around, or you may have the wire in the shot when you're shooting this. When you're looking at a wired microphone, you're looking at something that starts maybe at about $20 for something that's not so great quality, up to $100, $150, maybe a couple $100 if you're looking for something really, really high quality. But when you start to go wireless, you're starting at a couple $100 and working your way from there. We have a kit from Sennheiser that we use on our productions here at Butterscotch that's about $699 for the transmitter and the wireless mic kit. Now, this is fairly high quality, so you may not have to go that high, but if you're looking for something that is fairly good quality and goes for quite a distance, this is sort of about the range you're looking at. Again, you'll have a transmitter kit that attaches to the microphone. You'll tuck this onto your belt and tuck this to your shirt. The other end right here will go onto the camera and plug into the microphone jack. Now, if you're working with a camcorder, you might not just have the microphone jack on the side. You may have another way to attach microphone input. For example, some cameras have a hot shoe on the top, or maybe an interface on the top of the camera that allows you to attach external devices to the camera itself for input. In this case, we have an attachment that goes on top and sits in the hot shoe that attaches to XLR inputs. This is a standard microphone output option, and it attaches on the top via an interface. Now, other cameras may have a dedicated mount on the top with a hot shoe that actually accepts input directly from the hot shoe, or again, it may have an interface that accepts other devices like a microphone input, or it may actually be a microphone module itself, so like a shotgun microphone that sits on the top of the camera and points towards whatever the action is. That's the same for DSLRs these days that shoot video as well as taking still images. Now, while the still images are really high quality, video is more of an afterthought, so the audio on board these cameras is not that great. Again, some of these cameras will have a microphone input on the side of the camera, and a lot of them will also give this to you via the hot shoe attachment on the top. So you can add these as accessories after the fact if you're shooting your video on an SLR camera. Unfortunately, there's not as much opportunity for this kind of upgrade on point-and-shoots. Some of the higher-end point-and-shoots may have special audio attachments, but if you're using something that's maybe $100, maybe $200, you probably don't have a lot of option for audio input on those cameras, unfortunately. Don't forget to check out the other parts in the series. We're going to take a look at how to get the best quality video out of your image when you're shooting video. And don't forget to check out the show notes for this and the other parts in the series at butterscotch.com.